Hello, my name is Ben Ross, and my Discourse community project was done with my association board, the Corona General Employees Association. Here with me is Dennis Rawls. He is the vice president of the association. He is very familiar with a lot of the writings that the MOU needs to produce. One of those important documents being the MOU or Memorandum of Understanding. Dennis, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. Thank you for helping me with this.
Sure.
Just have a few questions about the MOU.
Okay.
I was hoping you could help me as well as my audience understand what exactly the MOU is.
All right. Well, the MOU, like you said, is the Memorandum of Understanding. It's essentially the contract between the city and the employee group. So it's a living document. It's something that can be altered or changed, but it's something that management and the association through their board have negotiated to come to an agreement with in terms of compensation for work, so salary, benefits, and working conditions. All those three areas are all covered under the Memorandum of Understanding.
Wow. So it's very significant. I would take it to the workers and the association for this document to be written in a standard. Now, is it a legal document per se, or?
Yeah, I think it is. It definitely has legal implementations because it is essentially the contract between the city and the employees. So it defines how we're to be paid. If X, Y, and Z happen, then we get A, B, and C. So all those things are laid out in this memorandum of understanding, so that way the employees and the city both know what they're getting from each other.
Very well. You discussed the type of agreements. You said everything from overtime, labor.
Yeah.
It's all stated within their hours of work, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The hours of work are kind of more based on the job descriptions themselves, but the MOU will cover basic salary, benefits like healthcare, pensions. It covers if there's any special compensation for, say, Spanish language pay, or if you're a shift worker, if you're in a position where you have to be expected to come in on off hours, there's on-call pay. Overtime is described, how that's to be paid in there. Holidays are all described. We get 12 paid holidays a year, so that's in there. How much vacation accrual we get, that's all in there. All that kind of stuff. So everything related to what we can be compensated for is all described in the Memorandum of Understanding.
And you said that all that's negotiated?
Yes.
And who does the negotiation? Is that the board?
Yeah, so the association elects 7 members to the executive board. Those 7 members, president, first vice president, which is myself, second vice president, secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms, and historian, collectively represent the employees to management. When the employee group is up for negotiations, typically a small group, maybe 1 or 2 to 3 people, will go sit with management, who will also be a small group. And then they'll discuss the financial situation of the city, determine if there is any extra money, what the association would like that extra money to go towards, whether we want, across the board 5% raise, or whether, we want to improve our vacation time accruals. That kind of negotiation will come back and forth. Obviously, recently, all cities have had reduced budgets, so the conversations usually be in the other way. What can management expect to get from the employees to help offset the costs that the city is facing? So that negotiation is all done between the management team and the association board.
And once that negotiation is completed, then do you come back and do you adjust the MOU that's already in place, or do you guys rewrite, or just put what's been newly implemented and worded and kind of revise it that way?
It's been my experience. Our MOU has been updated 3 different ways. If we're in the middle of a contract and there's no reason to do any kind of modification to the contract, a lot of times we'll come up with smaller issues that may only affect a certain group in the association. Maybe a certain group now is being, their job performance is being changed somehow. Maybe a group that was previously not allowed to have shift work is now being asked to work in shifts. So the MOU might be updated with a side letter that would then recognize this group as shift workers and give them the benefits of shift pay. So, and that's usually done by, like I said, a side letter, which is still negotiated through with management and the board. But then once approved, just becomes kind of an attachment to the MOU until the next time the MOU is actually updated, in which case the side letter will be integrated into the living document. Another update that I've experienced is where we've just done a contract extension, where we have an existing agreement in place, maybe it's only a 2-year-long agreement, and we wanted to say, we know that maybe there's nothing going on in the next couple of years, we know there's no money, we also don't want to lose anything. So we may ask to push that document out a couple more years, and so we just do a contract extension. So an MOU that may have only been 2 years becomes a 4-year MOU or a 6-year MOU, depending on the situation. And then the last way it's updated is actually go into a full negotiation where the actual contract has expired, the MOU has expired, and then we actually go in and negotiate a new contract. And a lot of times it's still just updates and changes to the existing document, but at the end you actually have a new MOU that takes place of the old MOU and is now in effect from the new date range that's been agreed upon.
You said you used the word living document a couple of times, and
Yes.
is that basically just a document that can be changed as time goes on? Is that?
Yes, so it's not like once it's set in stone, that's it, you can't ever change it until the date's done. It's a living document, meaning that at any time, either party can ask for a change to be made to the document. Now, the great thing is both parties have to agree, and they also have to agree to those changes. So that's part of the whole negotiating good faith. I was trying to get a term. Good faith was the key term there, where management has an issue or the employees have an issue, and they want that issue to be brought up and resolved with the other party. So that part kind of all encompasses why it's a living document. So like at any time it can, kind of go in and say, okay, well, we have this issue over here. Let's see if we can address it. Update the MOU and then move on.
Interesting. Well, Dennis, I think that kind of sums up what I was looking for. I think we've given the audience a brief understanding of what the MOU is, especially how it's used here at the City of Corona. I know that they are used in different ways in other departments. Departments will use them for bidding of jobs and that kind of stuff. And I know we use ours as, like you said, our bargaining or negotiating agreement or contract. So I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank you for coming over, and it's a pleasure speaking with you.
No problem. Thanks, Evan.